Hey, this is Sam Black with a Battle for Zendikar sealed deck to prepare for Grand Prix Atlanta. So to start things off, I am never really sure how best to go through the card pool. I think that if I just start reading off all the cards, it just becomes a blur of words and it's hard to really get any value out of. So I'm just going to go through each color and just highlight the main things that it's offering. Um, so in white, I have two Gideon's Reproach and a Sheer Drop and a Smite the Monstrous. So reasonable amount of removal. Um, More than enough 2 drops, like a lot of 2 drops. And then um, just a couple mid range bodies and retreat to Emeria with no real top end or big guys except for Ghostly Sentinel. Although I do have some white gold cards that we'll get to later, like a lot of them. Um, Blue offers Clutch of Currents, Mist Intruder, Tide Drifter, Benthic Infiltrator, Merc Strider. So basically, I have most of the good commons, but not Sky Spawner. A few ways to ingest, a few ways to process, but no real bombs. Tide Drifter is like possibly my best standout non-common, and I don't have any blue gold cards. So I think blue isn't offering much unless I find myself really looking to ingest. Black has a couple of Sludge Crawlers, a Calastria Healer, Wasteland Strangler, and then a couple playable filler cards, but those are the ones that really stand out. So it's mostly offering Wasteland Strangler. It does have Calastria Healer and Drana's Emissary, which are really good with Retreat to Emeria. But it doesn't have any of the black payoffs for life gain, and I don't know that like a black-white ally life gain deck is really supported with this pool, since most of the good black cards are going toward Devoid. Red is my longest color, with highlights including Outnumber, Processor Assault if I'm doing that, Fire Mantle Mage if I'm doing allies, which is likely a consideration given these two rares. Touch of the Void, Chasm Guide, and then a lot of reasonable, like 2 of each of the 4-drop commons: Belligerent Whiptail, Vestige Emrakul, and Undo Champion. And then a Stone Fury and a Serpentine Strike. Green has a couple Lifespring Druids, Tajuru, Stalwart, and Beastmaster, Eyeless Watcher, and a couple Giant Mantis, a Rot Shambler, and Shoddy Offshoot. Looks like green is reasonable support for a multicolor deck, but doesn't have much else going on. And then I have a lot of good gold cards, with 4 of them being allies, and 3 of those being rare, and then Catacomb Sifter and Grove Rumbler. And then in my lands, I have Blighted Cataract, Looming Spires, Shambling Vent is the most important land, and then I have a Pilgrim's Eye, and a Titan's Presence, and an Eldrazi Devastator. So a reasonable amount of fix if I'm green between Pilgrim's Eye and a couple of Lifespring Druids. And Shambling Vents if I'm trying to splash black in a white deck. So I think that given my rares and Retreat to Emeria, the obvious place to start is white-red allies, and then see if it wants to be any other colors, and if so, how many. So I'm going to start by pulling out my better white and red cards. I could see this being a McKindy Slide Runner deck. The more ally you are, the more you want all of your expensive cards to be allies, but it doesn't matter as much if your cheap guys are allies. Let's do at least one of these guys. And this thing. I could imagine playing Sure Strike, but it's not a requirement. Any of these 2-drops would be fine. Candy Patrol's good. I have a few enough 5s that I can play Ghostly Sentinel. I don't really want another 4, so I'm not excited about these red 4s. Let's see. I almost certainly want Pilgrim's Eye at the very least. If I'm not splashing green, then I want Shambling Vents. I think it's worth splashing Calastria Healer and Drana's Emissary. And so if these are my colors, how many ways to exile do I have? Roughly 0. Touch the Void. And Serpentine Strike. I think that's not enough to want to splash Wasteland Strangler. So it's probably either Eldrazi Devastator or a 2-drop. This build is kind of notably creature light. I only have 12 creatures. I have Retreat to Emeria is sort of another creature, and Sheer Drop is sort of another creature. But what are all these spells? Group creatures separately. No, just a lot of removal. Yeah. So Outnumber is not really shining with so few creatures. I can easily increase this by playing any of these 2-drops. Also, a lot of my early game is on the splash here, which I don't love. What if we table the black issue and look at green, maybe with black? So we get this and this. And then probably need these. And we want this, and we want this. And I probably end up needing to trim removal. The removal spells seem very good, so I'm hesitant to do that, but it's probably just what I'm supposed to be doing. So if we call this a 6-mana creature, say we cut those. We're still probably 1 card over, despite the 2 Druids and the Pilgrim's Eye, although I have enough expensive stuff that I think I want 18 lands. I also have a couple of landfall creatures. I think I want to be able to give trample when I have some big stuff. I think I like the one Undo Champion. I feel like I have too many 3-drops, but I don't really want to cut any of the allies, and then the other 3-drops are all fixers, so I feel kind of locked into those. It's possible that I'm just supposed to cut Gideon's Reproach, which I feel weird about, but I think Allies really wants to be a creature-based deck, and that just only leaves so much room for removal. I know Jerry was down on this card in his article yesterday or whenever. I could go crazy here and splash black also, but given that I'm pretty solid 3, I think it would cause problems. I'm kind of problematically solid 3 now that I think about it. I don't know that I can afford to be this evenly split. Veteran War Leader's really good, but it's possible that green's just not offering enough. It's giving me a lot of extra 3-drops when that's not really what I need. I could splash just a few green cards, but it's easier to splash a few black cards because of Shambling Vent, which is pretty reasonable payoff. I think what I want to do is play Eldrazi Devastator, and then go with a more controlling white-red splash black deck. Play Stonehaven Medic as kind of splitting the difference between Felidar Cub and Fortified Rampart. And then probably just play the other Gideon's Reproach. This looks better. Now I have a nice, like, reasonable curve, a bunch of removal, and then I have power in my ally synergies and my random Eldrazi Devastator and Serpentine Strike. The black splash for early cards is a little weird, but I think that they're good enough that it is what I want to be doing. I'm also kind of splashing Shambling Vents. Like, it is an asset to get to put it in my deck. So I think this is the build that I prefer, though I'm not incredibly confident. I have a little more white than red. I think I should play Looming Spires, and maybe also Sandstone Bridge. It's getting to be kind of a lot of colorless lands, but I think it's okay. So let's add some basics. That's more swamps than I need. I have 1, 2. I think I need at most 4 sources. Let's add a mountain to make up for the Shambling Vents and balancing my colors. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9 counting Pilgrim's Eye white, and 7, 8, 9 counting Pilgrim's Eye red, and 4 counting Pilgrim's Eye black. I want to be slightly high on black sources so that I can activate Shambling Vent, and because my black cards are early. So 4 sources for 2 cards is slightly high, but I think it's a good place to be, and 9/9 works for my main colors, so I think this will be my deck.